ask that superhero question that got everybody in trouble?
Of course you did.
Everybody on my end, because we're all geeks over here,
Yeah.
loves your work. John Diggle, aka Connor
Oh,
Hawke, Legends of Tomorrow, Green Arrow, did an amazing job. But the CW loves you. You back here to a 4400.
I can better than ever, baby.
Exactly, as Jarrell. So first of all, are you a superhero fan, and were you a superhero fan before you got to do all this amazing stuff?
Yeah. I'm like heavy sci-fi nerd just in general. So I'm getting to play on Arrow and then also doing this because I watched this show when I was a kid. It's like, I don't know, it's like a dream come true for me.
That's awesome. That you said you watched it when you were a kid. I remember that you said in another interview that you had gone back and watched all of Arrow before you came back on, to the show. Did you go back and do the same thing with this? Did you go back and watch all of the 4400 before you started shooting this?
Yeah. That's hilarious. I can't even believe you remember that. But yeah, I did both.
You have a very high cable bill, I could tell. One of the differences between the original 4400 and now is there's a lot of Black folks now.
Hey.
So yes.
We in there. I already knew the cast was going to be unbelievably diverse, going on a show where sort of everybody, or a good portion of the cast, is your skin tone, your complexion is like, they cut from the same cloth as you. They care. So they go the extra mile doing photo tests or camera tests, character, and all those things that didn't get before on other productions. So it means so much more now.
Tell us a little bit about who he works for and exactly what he does.
So Jarrell is a social worker in the city of Detroit. When the 4400 first arrived there, he is tasked by the government and the city to, I guess, help investigate what is happening with these people. Who are they, how they got here, and also to help them reintegrate themselves into society. So through the course of that, he develops bonds with each one of them and is trying to help each one of them find their sense of normalcy in it, but also looking for, I guess, a family member, his brother, who had gone missing a year prior under similar circumstances to the rest of the 4400. And that in itself is, I guess, his emotional connection to them and why it means so much to him.
Because Jarrell does go out of his way to help several people like Shanice. In fact, I feel like he risks his job, his position, to help her. What does Jarrell see that some of the other government agents or people working on this case don't see?
As sad as it sounds, he sees the humanity in these people. Each one of these people probably have loved ones who are missing them the same way he's missing his brother and doesn't know what happened to them. Giving them closure, giving them answers is unbelievably important to him.
I know you can't tell me who gets powers or what powers they are, but the show does deal with the supernatural. So, but do you consider, because you've been on obviously superhero shows, do you consider this a superhero show?
I don't know if it's going to lean in that direction. Right now, people are developing powers and everything, but it is very much just about their own personal journeys with those powers and seeing them manifest and what that means for them, but not necessarily using those powers to enact justice or anything on anyone. Even though
so they're the X-Men. Okay, they're the X-Men. I got it. I got it. They're the Marauders. They're the Marauders. I got it. All right.
I freaking love you.
So I'm fascinated by the fact that so many genre shows are actually exploring Black history in their storylines.
Yes.
This show is no different. So what storyline, because there's so many different stories and arcs in 4400.
Yeah.
What is one storyline that has historical significance that really spoke to you?
Man, it's funny because there's actually a good number of them. I would say two off the bat. One is Claudette, who she disappeared from the 60s right in the heart of the civil rights movement for us. So he was in that world where things were beginning to shift. People were doing the bus protest and everything. You have like not during the height of Martin Luther King, but just leading up to that is where her storyline takes place. And so to see the members of the faith, the like leaders in the Black community, all trying to figure out how to navigate the civil rights movement was a powerful thing to explore and to see. And then also Doc Andre came from like the turn of the century, like early 1920s, and seeing, I guess, the world of medicine back then as a Black doctor in Harlem in like the 1920s. I feel like I learned so much in that episode, and also seeing, like, I guess the different communities that existed in New York we didn't know about, you know? So much is revealed through Doc's story. So I feel like both of those really, really influenced me or helped teach me a lot about my own history that I didn't know.
No, that's awesome. And I look forward to like a lot of people being able to learn more from this show. If you could trade characters with anyone else on the show, who would it be?
Oh, I would want to be Autumn.
Really?
Yeah. Oh wait, that's a real name. I'm so sorry. I keep getting confused with real names and character names. Mildred is the character name in the show, and it's because of the powers.
That I can see what you mean, and I'm not going to spoil it here, but I can absolutely see what you mean. What is the one thing that you really want to make sure that people take away from the show? Because everybody's, trying to compare it to the old one. We know they're going to get powers. There's a lot of, people of color. But what is one thing that you want to make sure that everybody in the audience or people that might be on the fence about watching this takes away from the show?
We have so much representation on this show. It's not just Black people, it's like disabled people, it's LGBTQ, it's people of all different races who have representation on the show. And I feel like a lot of shows haven't had that in the past. And I don't know, it's about time. And I'm seeing people that I see in my day-to-day life have their stories told. And that's what I want people to think about if they're on the fence about watching this show. And also
awesome. And also powers, because Jarrell's going to get powers. I'm making that up. I have no idea.
He has to. I mean, if we keep putting it out there, the showrunners have to make it happen. That's how it works.
They do. And then season 2, you can get fitted for your gear. It'll be awesome.
Come on. Let me get a little bit of something, just a little bit of power.